So we're live. We'll let everybody get in here so I don't have to do a bunch of repeating or let a few viewers get in here. All right, so, okay. Welcome, guys, to Framework Fortune. I'm your host, Ben, and this is the first episode of Portfolio Power Up. And I have two special guests with me, and the first one we'll talk to is Blaqamore, Hampton. Each introduce yourself, tell them where they can find you at, all that good stuff.
Hello world,
Hello
like you said,
world.
my
Like
name
you
is
said, my name is
Blaqamore.
Blaqamore.
You can find
You
me
can find
on
me on
all
all
platforms as my
platforms
name,
as my name,
BLAQAMORE.
BLAQAMORE.
I have a
I
book out
have a
for
book out
beginners
for
as far as
beginners
how
as
to
far as
invest
how
in
to
stocks. It's
invest in
called
stocks. It's
Everything You
called
Need to Know
Everything You
About
Need to Know
Stocks.
About
You
Stocks.
can
You
get
can
that on
get that on
Amazon.
Amazon.
You can also get
You
the
can also get
ebook
the
on
ebook on
freedomoverfailure.com.
freedomoverfailure.com.
All right. And then our other special guest, some of you may know him from the live streams in the morning, is One Life, One Chance. And we have Rob. Go ahead and tell them a little bit more about yourself, Rob, and where they can find you if you want to be found.
Well, I'm One Life, One Chance. If you want to find me, good luck because I'm unfindable. I am not a licensed finance advisor. So this is all entertainment purposes. And I appreciate you having me on tonight for the Power Up Portfolio Power Up. And looking forward to seeing everybody out there and hearing talking about some stocks.
All right, so
Me too. Me too. I'm not
I'm
licensed
not
either.
licensed
To
either.
be clear.
none of us are licensed financial advisors. So all there'll be a disclaimer in the bottom, as there always is, but this is exactly what they said: for entertainment and educational purposes only. Do not buy or sell because somebody tells you to. That is the dumbest thing you can do. So thank both of you guys for being on here. Appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. Right now, let's see, we got somebody.
Well, thanks for having.
Saying we're hearing double. So let me
Uh-oh.
see if I can fix that real quick. All right, how about that? You guys hear? Are you hearing double? Right now, is that better?
Testing.
Give them a second to reply here. Like I said, it's going to be a little lag.
Technical difficulties, man. More technology goes further and faster and better, the more complicated it becomes.
Okay, apparently I'm not echoing.
The other guy. It's not you, Ben. It's the other guy. Well, which guy? Is it One Life or is it Blaqamore?
The other guy. That doesn't. There's two other guys.
Yeah. The other guy, the other guy, or the other guy?
But yeah, first episode. It's live. You gotta have some complications, or it wouldn't be right.
You're gonna have some kinks, man.
It would be right. It's better now. There we go. All right, we're good. So anyway, I just saw here recently that they didn't pass the stimulus package, and the futures have dropped already a good bit. That we got to touch on the big topic right now, the coronavirus and the effects it's had on the stock market, and the big question that everybody wants to know, which is the $1 million question, because if anybody knew it, you would be a millionaire. When is the market going to rebound? And either one of you guys want to hop on that and share your opinions or thoughts on that?
Go
okay,
ahead.
well, I mean, to be honest with you, if I had a crystal ball, I'd be able to tell you. I don't know personally when the market's going to rebound. In my own opinion, I think we have a ways to go. To Ben, I talk to you quite often, and this is my first encounter with Blaqamore, so I'll be really excited to hear his opinion on the subject. But I mean, the big thing with the market is be locked and loaded, have your cash ready on hand. And, obviously there's probably some stocks, do your due diligence of what you are looking for, what kind of companies you want to invest in. We on the live stream in the morning, 5 days a week, we definitely talk a lot about when is it going to happen? When are we going to have a, kind of like a bounce? Where are we going to bounce at? And right now, looking at the SPY tonight, it's kind of broken down to the 240 level on Friday, and here we are on Sunday evening, and right now it's at 218. I could see the 220 being resistance now. So, and if we can't get above that 220, we got a ways to go to drop, and I could see 180 possibly, later on in the week. And, just wait and see what happens, and we'll take it from there. But not really, when you talk about the Senate and the Congress talking about the stimulus checks, I want to know where my money is. I could use some of that.
Hey, what?
I know a lot of other people. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I definitely want to know what happened with that. My opinion, as far as the bottom, a while ago in the course I was talking about, I laid out a bull thesis and a bear thesis, and then in between, I don't even worry about. I like to look for best case scenarios and worst case scenario. And right now, it's seeming like the worst case scenario is playing out. So we got all these things going on with the coronavirus, driving all the prices down. It's election year. Usually when the markets aren't doing well during election year, that president isn't likely to be reelected, which brings in a new president, which brings on more uncertainty. And it's a Democratic president, which is like anti-business and all of that. So the markets don't like that. I feel like this coronavirus may seem to disappear once this season is over. And I think it'll come back. And I think that this is far from the bottom. That's what I'm getting at. I think it's far from the bottom because it's too much.
Agree.
It's too much to go wrong. And it's seeming like, everything is unprecedented. Like when you look at the macroeconomic conditions, like, they got the interest rates low, which incentivizes the bank to lend money and things like that. They're trying to pump money into it, even though y'all said it got blocked. So I need to understand why that
Nancy
happened.
Pelosi.
Everything they're trying to do not work. Oh, sorry. Yeah, everything is unprecedented. Everybody's a new territory. It's like we don't know how to handle it. One minute Trump was like, don't worry about the virus. The next minute it's a pandemic. It's too much confusion. And I think we just getting started. I think
we all can agree the media has done a terrible job as well with all the, contradicting headlines and things like that. It's caused quite a bit of panic. As far as certain sectors being shut down right now, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that, like, for instance, the travel sector, like Carnival Cruise and all them, their stocks have crashed significantly. People are saying it's a good time to buy those. But, if it's still going to be a while before the travel industry gets back open, some of those businesses may not survive. So, I personally wouldn't want to touch those right at this moment until we know some more answers of how long this is going to last and will those type of companies be able to survive through it. You even heard Trump himself talking about his hotels and the businesses that he owned right now are taking pretty huge hits as well. So, it affects everybody. Would that be is that something you guys would think too would be probably a good idea to wait on, like those travel industry stocks right now? Because I know it's very appealing at the price that they've been at, but like I said, you don't know which ones are at this point that can make it out. Like it's unprecedented, just like Blaqamore was saying.
I mean, it depends on what you're looking at, and like me personally, I like to tip my toes in the water no matter what I do. If I'm going to make a swing trade, if it's going to be a long-term investment, or if it's going to be a day trade. So I like to enter my trades. I like to scale in. I like to scale out. So like right now, I'm looking at Delta Airlines. I'm looking at Dell, and I'm at like a 10-year chart here. And well, this might be a 15-year chart or 13-year chart. And they're already like right at like a 2007 low. So would I be interested in it? Yeah, I know they got a lot of tough times ahead. Maybe I'd scale in a little bit, but I wouldn't be like, okay, I'm going to dump, my whole life savings into this position right all at once. Maybe I'll buy a little bit and see what happens. but you never know. You could say that, okay, well, Delta's going to go under and we're not going to be able to use them anymore. Me personally, I don't think that's going to happen. There's a lot of jobs that are on the line. They're going to need Delta. So would I be interested in buying at $20, $21? Sure, okay. Would I like it better under 10? Of course I would. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. So, right now, yeah, maybe I would buy a little bit of shares into them. But, would I put my whole account in there? No, not at all. So.
Yeah, that's definitely the smartest way to go about it. Me personally, I'm probably going to stay away from them, period. If I was to touch any airline stocks, I'm looking at either Southwest or the Alaska Airlines just because their debt is low and I know that they're free cash flow positive. All the other ones that I looked at a quick glance, they had more debt than they had equity. I ain't got time for that during these times. I need to make sure y'all got y'all cash right. And just in general, I don't like when things go bad, whatever industries is falling the worst, I run away from. I ain't got time to be. I would rather look for the stocks that's not falling as much, even though overall conditions is bad. Because that just tells me that they coronavirus proof for now, if you will, like they're immune to it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at Clorox bleach in the what's that Hormel canned food, whatever that joint is.
Yeah.
HR.
Yeah. Campbell's. All the toilet paper stocks.
I'm looking at low debt. Make sure y'all free cash flow positive, enough cash to make it through the quarter. And if anything, I'm scaling in like he said. And on top of me scaling in, I'm hedging everything. I'm either buying put options or I'm buying a little bit more of them short trusts like SQQQ or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of those. You were talking about the companies that haven't really took that big of a hit yet, like you were saying, some of those the consumer goods stocks. But something I've noticed too as well, and I'm sure Daniel B will have a comment on this in the chat in a minute, but a lot of the tech stocks haven't dropped that much, like AMD and NVIDIA. They've kind of held up pretty well. And today I actually had to run out and get another monitor because my other one decided to stop working. I couldn't find a monitor anywhere because everybody's having to work for home. They're having to go out and buy monitors and computers and all those different setups and stuff so they can work from home. And I think that's also going to help, with those already strong companies, and they're going to have pretty good first quarter sales, I would imagine, since you can't even find that type of stuff right now. I found one monitor in the whole 20-mile radius of my house of all the different stores. Like I live in Milwaukee, so there's plenty of stores to pick from. None of them had any except for one, and they only had one monitor. So,
well, who goes to a store to buy a monitor these days, though, Ben? I mean, to be honest with you, everything I buy, I have it delivered to me. I get my groceries delivered to me. I get monitors delivered to me. I get, toothpicks delivered to me. So, I mean, maybe the stores, maybe not.
No, I'm not talking about
I don't know. It could be that.
Yeah, I was just saying they actually, I thought the same thing. I didn't think it was going to be a problem for me to go out today and get a monitor. But like I said, every store was empty. Right. So, those consumer goods stores, of course, they probably are going to be fine because they're going to have to stay open during all this, and they're going to have, they're selling out of all these products. But like I was saying, the tech side, them being out of monitors and computers, I think that kind of shows the strength of the tech sector. And of course, you're going to need technology to invent vaccines and tests and all that stuff as well. So, it's just my opinion. I think that's one of those ones like Blaqamore was saying where they haven't got hit that hard, and they probably won't. But if they keep coming down the little bits that they are, it's still, when we get towards that bottom, whenever that may be, I think those are pretty solid.
And like One Life was saying, how we just gets everything delivered to him. Where are you usually buying these things from when you get them delivered to you?
Yeah.
Just curious.
The big boys.
It's
Amazon. And you see, they ain't really got hit like that.
I did see that they are stopping deliveries for non-essential goods and stuff like that. Like they're not. We tried to order some stuff today, and they said they're not delivering. So I don't know how much that might affect them in the coming days if they're not delivering to the everyday consumer.
Well, that's funny that you brought it up because I read that article too that they were gonna start slowing down that kind of pace. But I mean, the last 2 days I got deliveries dropped off from
Yeah.
them. So I don't know how accurate that is. I feel
But I
like
think
Amazon has enough people there, and I saw another article within the last week of them
Yeah.
hiring more people. So I mean, I think they're gonna just keep on. Maybe they want to save face and they want to say a little bit that okay, we're gonna only ship mask or medicine or whatever. But I think they got the manpower to be able to deliver to anywhere, anytime, at any cost, really, as long as the demand is there. So
super
we'll see, though. I mean, me personally, I would have knew about Amazon, when I was younger and I had a couple dollars in my pocket to invest in them, because now they're just way out of touch.
Oh yeah.
In touch.
What?
So I'm curious. What did they say about the stimulus thing?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I want to get to that. What they say?
Said, well, this is what Trump said. I was watching a press conference. He said that they didn't get it. They didn't pass it yet. The Republicans are ready to, but the Democrats are fighting against it. They want to pass their own bill, I guess. And so,
what they
say what?
Well, the Democrats want to get more or less,
he didn't
or
say
what?
Anything else? That's all I pretty much said. And he said, "I'm sure the American people would be."
Yeah,
it's always both sides kind of pointing the finger at each other. And he just basically said, "I bet the American people would be pretty angry that the Democrats wouldn't pass this when it's ready to." So I don't really know all the details, but that's what he said. So.
Well, I think it's still a little bit of saving face of what he said, but me personally, I think it's going to get done. I'm going to assume that we're all talking about the stimulus package for the American people, the $1,200 checks, the $300 that I read per child, and then helping out with the small businesses and everything. I could see that getting passed sometime this week. I know they're doing their due diligence, trying to get everything done. I think it's kind of like politicians being politicians, and okay, I want a little bit more here, I want a little less here, but it seems like inevitably that everybody is on the same page and they want to get it done. It's just a matter of time, just because how bad of the breakout is with the coronavirus. So I could see it done within the next, by the end of the week at the latest. If we're going into next week and it's still not done, okay, I'd be a little bit worried, because then we're going to be going into April, and we don't know where the virus is going to be 5 days from now, and we don't know, how more people are going to be laid off and out of work. So we'll see. I think it's going to get done. Me personally, as long as they're going to send me some money in my bank account, I'll take it. I'm not going to turn it down. Sooner better.
Yeah, I would hope that they would have it done by the end of the week. I mean, you already have New York shut down and California shut down, and more states I'm sure are going to start following that. And so, there's going to be a lot of people who will need that help. And then, of course, it's nice to get some money from the government every once in a while, as much taxes we pay and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a nice something in this dark time that probably needs to be done as soon as possible. They should be putting politics to the side at this point, I think. But,
Right on. And it's funny, I don't want to make this like a political, live stream or anything. But I remember watching Joe Rogan a couple days ago, and they were talking about, the stimulus package and coronavirus and everything. And then he was bringing up Andrew Yang, and he's like, well, shit, man, if we just had to have all this happen, and, and he's talking, Andrew Yang was talking about every American getting $1,000 a month, pay a little extra taxes, Here we are. Now the Republicans are okay, let's send some money here. The Democrats want to do it. It's like there's tons of people that needed this money years and years ago. So let's make it happen and let's go.
Do y'all think when they do pass, it'll be effective? Do you think it's a good? I know we all want the money, but do y'all think it's a good idea?
Well, that's the thing that I'm kind of thinking too. What's going to happen with the back end? Like, are we eventually? What's the tax rate going to happen? When the economy gets back on its feet, even in short-term interest rates. My girlfriend, she works in the loan industry with the housing market, and what's going to happen in the back end? okay, are we going to get, X amount of dollars now within the next few weeks to a month? And then are we going to be paying more, 2 years from now with our taxes?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're
Well, I mean, they're
juggling everything.
basically making fake money. We're already 23, or we were 23 trillion in debt, and so the stimulus package and the money they're pumping into the stock market, where is this money coming from? It's not like it was sitting around anywhere. So like that's going to add more debt to the economy, and in the long run, it may end up hurting us. I think what they're banking on is it helping everybody get through. So as soon as all the coronavirus hype dies down and the market does start rebounding, they're hoping it'll be quick enough. Because I think that's the problem, is if this job layoff and all this stuff lasts for months, even maybe towards the end of the year, then that's going to cause a lot of problems. But if they can somehow fix all this extremely quick, it may not have as a big of effect on the stock market. I mean, I still think we're going to have some issues because there is, a lot of credit card debt, and the country's in debt. So the coronavirus was kind of a catalyst to start knocking those issues and exposing them. But at the same time, like I said, we were pretty strong anyway with all that. So if a vaccine or a cure happens to come out quick, or even a treatment, maybe there's a possibility they can get us through it quick enough to where it won't damage the economy that bad. That's their thinking. That's what I'm getting from it. So.
Well, yeah, because I mean, a lot of people are uneducated about the subject. You could go back, 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, and we were at 339 highs on the SPY, and here we are, and Sunday night we're looking at futures, and we're at 218. So right there, you're looking at 120 dip right there, handles, and it's like, that's a great buying opportunity. Me personally, I still think there's a lot more to go. I think Blaqamore's on the same page as me. I'm sure, Ben, you're probably thinking the same thing, as we still have a lot more to go before we get close to the bottom. I think it's going to be an amazing buying opportunity at that point, because you're going to be able to get into some of these blue chip kind of stocks at a really nice discount. And if you're already kind of educating yourself in the stock market and with your financials and being kind of prudent at this time, and be like, you know what, I'm going to cut back. Obviously, I'm in Michigan. I'm already cutting back because I can't go anywhere. I can't go out to eat. I can't, go to the store and buy anything. I can't do anything. Nothing is open. I can't go to the club. I can't go to a concert. I can't go to a baseball game or anything like that. So I'm already saving money by just being quarantined right now. So how long is this going to last? Is the big. How long are we going to be stuck in our house before we know when we can get out back? And once we know that, and they always say the bend the curve or whatever, once we get to that point, I think, if you can make it out and your job is still intact, you're very lucky, because a lot of people are going to be laid off. It's going to be slow in a lot of different sectors of the market, and a lot of people are going to be hurt by that. So it's a good time to kind of just be able to educate yourself and take the next step. Don't let this kind of be your downfall or your headache, which unfortunately, it's going to be for a lot of people. But there will be a buying opportunity for people that are set up. They have cash on hand. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get hurt out of it, but we'll find out in the next few months or so. See what happens.
I'm afraid for the influx of new traders that are coming into the markets, because this is, one of those once in a lifetime possible opportunities. But those new traders, I'm afraid, are going to come in and start buying, like maybe right now, or anything that looks appealing, they're going to jump on, and it's going to end up destroying them in a time where they shouldn't be losing money or even risking money because they're new to the stock market. But Blaqamore, I'll let you go ahead. I know you got some thoughts.
Well, I just was gonna say, I think that I don't know about this stimulus plan. That's all, because $1,000 to hold people over with money we already needed, and now there's more pressure on it, and the $1,000 supposed to average monthly expenses like $1,500, $2,000. I mean, I think they add with the kids, but and I'm not certain they're gonna fix it
Well,
in time.
they've
And
changed. They've
even
ran the numbers up now. Now they're saying somewhere around 3,000. So I don't know how accurate that's going to be, but I know it started with 1,000, but now they're saying actually it might be 3,000 for families. So, it's a little bit more, but
It probably should be a lot
well,
more than
I
that, to
know.
be
I'm just
honest
saying
with
the
you.
numbers are going up. I think they're realizing that as they're breaking stuff down and they do minimum wage, different minimum wage times whatever they're doing to get the numbers, and they're like, oh, okay, they can't afford to live off of, $1,000. So I think that's what they're finding out is it's gonna take more because it was just a $1 trillion stimulus package. Now it's a $2 trillion stimulus package.
Yeah.
are they spending any of this money on hospital equipment in case this comes back around? Since that's the reason why it's a big issue in the first place.
Who knows?
If not, we could stay
Who
up.
knows? They're saying that they've got a good system in place now, but that's what they're saying. There's not really any way for them to prove that. Oh, so
Right.
now okay, so I'm seeing 1,200 per adult and 500 per child. So I don't like I said I've seen so many different headlines from the media. I don't know what's real and what's not. So real quick, I'm gonna cut off from that subject and we'll get back to it. But we got a question. What do you guys think about Square Inc? I don't know anything really about that company, so I guess they.
What's the tick?
Go ahead. I was just seeing what it says. Something about I think they have Cash App or something. They own Cash App maybe.
Square. If you do you know the ticker symbol?
It's SQ.
SQ Square.
Mm-hmm.
That's one I haven't looked into yet.
Jeez,
So I really don't have that much information or an opinion on it. I'd have to actually look at it and look at their financials and all that
Square.
stuff. I mean, Cash App is real popular right now, but PayPal was real popular. PayPal's still around, but Cash App I think is kind of similar maybe to PayPal, or maybe it's similar to one of the Apron apps. I'm not familiar with it other than what I've seen.
I personally don't mind Square. I mean, right now everything's shaky, but in general, Square,
Yeah,
them just
you already got a discount.
you get a discount. They free cash flow positive. They low debt. I think that whole cash payment industry is. I don't see how we gotta have transactions.
And right now,
You know what I'm
actually,
saying?
with everybody quarantined, if they're trying to send money and do things like that, they're probably raking up a lot of fees or however they make money, because I'm sure a lot of people are using it. So I could see it just from what you guys are saying, that it probably would be a decent investment if you could get in real cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I look at everything a lot more of a technical aspects. So, I mean, right now it's at, 38.22 or so. It's under the 200-day. I would just wait and just see what happens. I mean, obviously, if you want to dip your toes into the market and you want to buy a little bit for a long-term hold or whatever, I mean, go ahead. But I'd wait and look and see if this 27.94 area is going to hold. If not, then maybe you can get a bigger discount. But if you're really in love with the company, you love what they're doing, their product, I mean, have at it. It's your cash. You're getting a discount. I mean, my only thing is that I would, like Blaqamore was saying, look at their finances, look at the fundamentals of the company, look at their outlook, look at their, the management team, and see where it's at, what they're going to do after this. And maybe scale in your position.
Scale in. That's what I would say. If you really like it, everything check out, scale in like One Life was saying earlier. That's the best way to go about it during these trying times.
So Daniel B is actually trolling us right now. He wants to know what we think. He's wanting to know what we think about AYTU. So actually, it's a pretty decent subject.
What's AYTU? I never heard of that company before.
Besides AYTU, we can talk about the stocks right now that have been ripping and running, but very unpredictable with their rips and runs. And Blaqamore, you don't really day trade too much, so you may not be too familiar with some of these stocks because some of these are garbage, like AYTU. But they're companies that are selling tests, And I say AYT is garbage. I'm personally in that company right now.
I like AYTU. I like
Yeah,
that
okay.
company. I like their
You like their
management,
management?
man. But yeah, I mean, they're a penny stock. What do you expect, you
But
know?
they are right now about to receive their first shipment of test. And from what I've seen, they do have the fastest test. But we've seen the last couple of weeks several different stocks during the day that had test get FDA approval and hitting markets and stuff like that. And those stocks were ripping. Like BMRA, I think, went from $3 to 25 or something like that. And then there was another one I can't even remember. But
There's always a stock that's ripping, 300, 400, 500% within, 24, 48 hours, It's just kind of like the play. I mean, what do you think? I don't know. AYTU,
I
I'm not really going to spill my guts on it,
Let me go this thing.
I
I'm
like it. I think Daniel B knows where I'm at with it.
yeah. Rob's a
But
little more invested than
it's
me.
it's just a coronavirus play. That's all it is. It's a coronavirus play. They have test kits. They're not FDA approved. Um, they just did some offerings, investor
to
offerings.
to clarify, but I'm going to cut you off.
Raise some
Let me
capital. What
cut
do
you
they
off for a
do with
second, Rob.
money?
To clarify, we are not long-term investing in AYTU. This is only a very short,
No,
a very
not
short
at
term.
all.
Are you thinking going long-term with it, Rob? Is that what you're saying? Oh, okay. I was going to
No,
say
no, no,
that's
no,
a little
no, no.
wild.
I have my price
Uh,
target. I have my price target.
okay.
I put my price target in and I walk away from the laptop. I don't look at it.
But yeah,
I do some reading on it. I do some due diligence. I look back at it. Some of it, I'm kind of like, what's gonna happen with these guys? They're kind of,
yeah,
possible, coronavirus play.
yeah. I mean, it's a
6 months from now, a year from now, we'll see. But I mean, in the short term, a short-term swing, I like it.
yeah.
After that, now we'll talk about it in another
Yeah.
stream.
Now, too, on saying that, if from what we've seen, which can change at any point in time, we know that every day market conditions are changing. AYTU could come out with that FDA approval, and actually they need to this week. They're supposed to be getting their test in. There's been a couple little posts here and there saying that the test landed. So they are supposedly the fastest test as well. But once it does get that, and it does have that rip, there's no guarantees that after it rips, it will go that it won't drop all the way back down to 30 cents like it was before all this. That's what I was saying. This is a garbage company, but they do have the potential that if they get these 100,000 tests out, and then they get a couple million more orders of tests, that type of news could spring this garbage company up, just like we've seen with some of the other penny stocks. So it's something you got to be very careful with, and not something a new trader should probably be thinking about buying, because you need to be looking at it every single day to make sure it's holding up support areas and not coming out with, our test didn't work. The half of them failed the FDA approval because they just didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, that's a possibility that could happen with these. So
Right. I mean, you're absolutely right, Ben. I totally agree with you. And as if you're a new investor to the market, you're dipping your toes into it. I mean, really, you want to learn about risk management. You don't want to just take whatever you have. You're saving your nickels and dimes. You're returning pop bottles or whatever for some change. You don't want to just throw everything you have into one stock.
especially not a penny stock.
That's the only thing that I can kind of just, please, if you're a new trader, don't do that, because that's how you're going to get burned. You're going to end up getting the FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be like, okay, I'm putting all my money in this one stock. You don't really know a lot about it. You're just kind of following the herd of people and doing that. So, it's all about risk management. If you like a play, you don't have a lot of time to be able to check in on it, make sure that you are covering yourself where you're not going to blow up your account.
Now, Blaqamore, you probably would never even touch AYTU in a million years, because you look at that cash flow and those type of things, and I'm pretty sure that AYTU's cash flow is garbage at the moment. I think they do have a little bit of cash, but their debt is more than their
They
cash.
better have cash.
They've got some, but that's why they're doing these
They
direct
just did like
offerings.
4
Well, yeah,
offerings.
that's what I'm saying. Those 4 offerings, of course, they raised some money because they didn't have any money to get more tests and get
Right.
those tests out. So that's what I'm saying. It's not one that, I would think somebody who's wanting to hold stocks for a year or even long term invest, like kind of more of what Blaqamore does, it's something he probably wouldn't look at. But is there any
I do it. If you're not in a million years, I might do it in 100. I'll make exceptions here and there.
okay? I mean, has
Here
there
and-
been any of these kind of penny stocks, in that 50 cent to $10 range that you've been had an eye on because they are maybe a stronger company than some of those other ones, and they've got like a vaccine in the works or testing or something like that? Is there anything that you've come across?
No, not. I haven't even screened. Not currently. The last penny stock I dealt with, what was it? LGL. At the time, it was about $6 or $7. I bought them because they went free cash flow positive for the first time
Okay.
in a long time. It went up to about 12, 13 before I sold out. Uh, that was nice. I could do it every once in a while, but even with those, I usually don't hold them too long. I may have held it if this coronavirus didn't break out. I don't know if it was that messed it up or the company within itself, but I had to go ahead and
Yeah,
lock in
like
while I could. But I don't have
that's a
it.
that's a good thing. A lot of new traders should understand too is like lock in profits when you have them. Whether you're day trading, swing trading, or if you're long term investing. If you invested 11 years ago, and then now this January you were like, the market's at all time highs. That might be a time to cash out. The big CEOs and everybody did it, whether or not they knew that the coronavirus was really coming and they just jumped ship because of that reason, or maybe because it was the highest point the market has ever been. And, that's when you're supposed to sell. So, when you
I personally don't think it was nothing. I think that was just CEOs, like you said, to sell it when they're
yeah.
supposed to, because I see an abnormal. I mean, hundreds of CEOs do this every year. They make it. It's making headlines this year, but CEOs sell
Mm-hmm.
shares every day. B, this ain't nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
So
Right.
same thing I thought on too. It's like, that's not really that big of a deal. Just the timing of it. People are saying, they knew something. And I personally don't think that's what it was. A lot of them are older too. They want to retire. I was telling my dad last year, towards the end of the year, I was like, Dad, you're old enough to retire. Your 401k is doing really good. This is the time to retire. I didn't know the coronavirus was coming. I just knew that the stock market was at all time highs. So, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Those CEO billionaires, they have teams of people who are trading their stocks who are getting paid good money to trade those stocks. So they can look at indicators too and figure it out. It's not like it's that big of a deal. I just think the news media, they have too much fun now with with the news headlines and the stuff they say.
So let me ask y'all how. We kind of started with this, but let's say things is ugly, right? How how long do you think it will be before it recovers? I think we all pretty much agree that this ain't the bottom, but how much more pain do you think we have to go through? Like how long do you think it'll last? Like an average bear market or some 1929 stuff?
That's
I mean, I think it's kind of really too early to call, really. Um, it's going to get bad. When is it going to recover? I think we'll know when it recovers is when the virus is in control. Tests come down and everything kind of gets back to normal. I think then we'll be able to gauge what happens after that.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier. I think it depends on how fast everything moves as far as the stimulus package, as far as the virus getting control of it. A vaccine, a cure. Because like, if all this could happen by the end of the week, everybody's only shut down for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. That will hurt some smaller businesses, but the big corporate companies being shut down for 2 or 3 weeks, unless they have a ton of debt and no cash flow, that shouldn't be enough to affect them. Like Apple's not going to go
Right.
anywhere because they have like billions and billions in their cash reserves. So they can make it through 2 or 3 weeks. They don't have to sell iPhones for 2 or 3 weeks to survive. So I think at that point, like I said, small businesses could be hurt, but if things move fast enough, I think we may see a quicker rebound. But if the longer it takes, I think the longer the rebound is going to be. If it takes all year or 2 years before everything gets back to just normal everyday life, then of course our rebound's going to take a long time, because that was a lot of, time that passed where people weren't making money, and a lot of small businesses went out of business, and even some of the larger ones would go out of business at that point. So,
have y'all been paying attention to what's going on with the oil?
last thing I saw was
Not really, because I don't drive anywhere.
the last thing.
I know
Yeah,
it's cheap.
very cheap. The last thing I saw, I think, was this morning. Saudi Arabia won the price war or something. I'm not sure. I didn't really read it because, like I said, the headlines have been all crazy. So that's all I've seen personally. I know that it's between Russia and Saudi Arabia, and they're trying to undercut each other on price because Russia didn't want to do something with them because of us or something or another. I don't know the exact details, but big country nonsense basically. What do you got on that, Blaqamore? What do you know about the oil?
Just as much as you do. Actually, you knew more than me. That's why I asked. Yeah. I'm just trying to. I'm looking at other parts of the world because I'm trying to see what's all contributing to the ugliness. Because if it's like just virus, and last I checked, China is getting back to normal, but yet things are still getting bloody. But it's like if they're leading this thing, I like to believe the rest of the planet will follow. So, but at the same time, Italy's still getting worse, but Italy's where China was a month or so ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like if China's getting better, we got the blueprint. We know how to do it. We just copy China or copy Italy or copy California, whoever's leading it. So that's why I'm still kind of confused on the uncertainty, because it's like that should give us something to look forward to.
Yeah. And, well, one of the problems I think too is with China, they can tell everybody to go inside and stay inside and quarantine. America's a little bit trickier. We all have that, either that one ignorant cousin, who's just been crazy his whole life, who he's not staying inside. He's out, drinking liquor and running through the streets and going to Walmart, and we got those people out there like that, and it's going to take probably military enforcement to get those people to stay inside. So I think that's where it's going to be tricky at for the U.S. because we're a wild bunch of people.
I think it's all coming.
What's that?
I think it's going to come to that.
It might. I mean, you look at it. They're showing pictures of the beaches in Florida. The beaches in Florida were packed with spring breakers and stuff like that. And then I was watching the Andrew Schultz podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, New York's on quarantine, but I went for a run today with my girlfriend, and literally everybody was outdoors. They were running in packs together in the parks. They were playing tennis together, 2-on-2 tennis. They were playing basketball. So, like, quarantine is supposed to stay inside your house. If you guys are still going out and getting in groups, it's not going to do anything. So I think that it may come down to military enforcement, which I know some people will not be too happy about. So
I disagree. I don't think that's going to happen.
Hopefully not.
I don't think the military is going to come in Michigan and tell everybody to disperse. But I could see, like, in a big populated area like New York or something, they'll have like the National Guard or something.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think they said they sent the National Guard to New York and California.
Yeah. I mean, because as long as you're 6 feet away from everybody, you should be able to go outside and play tennis. I don't think I'm going to play tennis with my buddy that's, he's been puking for the last 24 hours and has a fever. I'm sure it's going to be somebody that I know they're on the up and up. So
yeah, but like, what about basketball?
Yeah, people they can't just stay inside all day. We live in America. We have the Constitution. We should be able. It's a free country. You should be able to come and go. We're talking about China here. I mean, China on the other hand, it's a whole nother level of nuts. So I don't think it'll get that bad. If it does get that bad, where you got the military coming in and quarantine cities like a movie and stuff like that, then all the stock stuff doesn't even matter because we'll be past that. We'll be hunting.
Yeah, I've said that in several of my live streams and videos. I'm like, if you're worried about it being an apocalypse, your money and your stocks aren't going to matter anyway. Like you better be the one who bought up all the toilet paper, because that's what the currency is going to be apparently.
Right.
So Daniel B, he said, "Who is going to pay for the debt that the country is getting into? Who's going to pay for that debt?" He said, "That's the basic
Our
question." Yeah, our
grandkids.
great grandkids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's always kicked down the road. That's how this government is. That they've been able to get away with it. Uh,
Yeah,
life is good. We still have shelter. We have running water. We have grocery stores. They're gonna just keep on kicking it down the road. That's my opinion.
probably.
It's just gonna be going down and down. Until it comes to an end, and I don't see it stopping
Yeah,
anytime
we were
soon.
already 23 trillion. What's another 2 or 4 trillion in debt? At that point, they're just stacking it up, and then somebody will have to deal with it. But I don't know. Like One Life said, it may be down the roads. It may be our great grandkids or something like that who have to deal with it. Just my concern is hopefully this time they learn from this virus and have a system in place to where next time it won't be this bad. Because I'm sure if we had an actual good system that was a good healthcare system, it would actually help quite a bit. Whereas I don't know about you guys, but healthcare has not been good for me in a while. Being an independent person,
Right.
it costs quite a bit. It's cheaper for me to not have healthcare. Like if I go to the hospital, I'd rather pay the hospital bill than pay the healthcare. It ends up being just a little bit cheaper. I barely go to the doctor, so.
Yeah,
But
but
I didn't
sorry.
mean to get into all that. I was just saying, hopefully they fix that out of this because they are going to go into
Yeah.
they are going to go into debt. At least get some good make some good out of this for the future of the country. Have healthcare a little bit better or something, so we're not just stuck in the same situation if another virus from some chicken or something starts appearing. So what do you think about that debt? How are they going to get rid of it, Blaqamore? What kind of solutions do you think they could come up with?
To get rid of what?
The debt
The debt?
after all this is said and done. Like Daniel B was asking, who's going to pay for that debt?
Well, what it seemed like America been doing. It seemed like we just been robbing people here and there. So just keep doing that.
Maybe if Russia and Saudi Arabia go to war with each other and blow each other up, then we can have all the oil in the world. Maybe that's the solution.
As long as we got the strongest military, the debt don't matter. Ain't nothing, what you
Yeah,
gonna do?
that's true. That's true.
Right.
You ain't stealing Debo's gold chain. He's definitely keeping it. So, I get what you're saying there.
That debt talk is
So,
so.
yeah, that's I don't know. It's crazy. It's a crazy time right now. I think
I mean, the question is when was the last time that we actually had positive cash flow for the government?
Yeah.
My whole life, I'm a little bit older than you guys. I mean, this is all I've heard is this debt, and everything's been the same. I mean,
Actually,
I think we're always gonna just have a lot of debt.
as I understand it, we in the black though, because we have more assets than we have debt. They just always highlight the debt.
Oh, and
Right.
that's what I would assume that too, because the economy wouldn't been as on the bull run that it was on if we didn't have something that was positive. So I agree with you there. I'm sure we pretty much have plenty of assets, and some countries might want to sell themselves to America after this virus happens. Some of those third world countries are going to have it real rough during these times. They're
That's a
going to have it
fact.
way rougher than we are because some of them don't even have grocery stores or stuff like that. So they, maybe we can buy a couple of countries up and make them like Puerto Rico or something. Daniel B said strongest military with a question mark. He said you guys only have toilet paper in stores. Listen, Americans are crazy. They buy a whole lot of toilet paper and stuff like this when it happens. It happened back in Y2K when everybody thought the world was going to end because the zeros on the computer were going to match up. Like one of the stupidest things ever. That
Man, in hindsight, that's
yeah,
so
I mean, it's
stupid.
like you're telling me that this computer can't tell what 2000 is going to mean on a date on a clock, but yeah, they do that. But I mean, the thing is, we do have the strongest military because we probably have the most nukes or biggest missiles and all that stuff out of anybody. You know, I don't really keep up with that, but I know we got a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if you got a million
Think
people
from
when you've got a giant bomb that can kill a million people. You don't need a whole lot of foot soldiers at that point. Not that, you know.
not to say that we don't do these things. These are
Yeah.
bad things. We just I'm not for that. I ain't vote. We just things
Yeah,
just are
exactly.
what
It is
they are.
what it is. It's not. I'm not condoning bombing millions of people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
I think we already got a lot to deal with the coronavirus at hand. Not to, I don't think we need to throw any
Yeah, no,
nukes
I
into
don't either.
the whole as well.
Um. So,
Yeah.
Daniel B is wanting to know about moving averages. He's really trolling us hard, but everybody else is kind of just watching right now.
What does he want to know
He
about
says he's new
moving
and he'd like to
averages?
know how to use them in his trading. So, you know,
Tell him to Google it.
Blaqamore, do you use?
But
I'm
I
not.
say
I'm not paying. I'm not selling a course here. I mean, I can't give away anything for free. He's got to. He's got to Google it and
Yeah.
he's got to read it.
Uh,
Blackmore's got a book though. You could buy
yeah. Well, I was
Blackmore's
about to
book.
ask him that.
I don't know if
and I
he's
do
got
talk
moving
about
averages in
That's what I
there,
was about
but
to ask him. Do you use moving
I
averages
do.
for your long-term investments? Because
yeah, kinda. I mean, of course, not the only thing. I use a 30 time period, whether 30-day, 30-week, or 30-month exponential moving average, like the 30 exponential. I just use that by itself along with volume.
okay, yeah. So you're not too big into all the lines on the computer. I'm kind of in the mid ground.
Nah,
I use some moving averages and the VWAP for my day trading and stuff. I don't use the VWAP for long term, but I don't like to have too many lines. I don't like to have like 10 different moving averages on 1 minute chart because that's just a lot to look at and it distracts me. But that's me personally. I think for anybody new, you just gotta paper trade or trade with a little bit of money and try different moving averages out to see what works for you because everybody's different. Every trader has their own perspectives and their own comfort levels and how much they can handle as far as information as you're taking in. Because when you're day trading or even doing your research for long-term investing, you're looking at so many different numbers and charts and press releases and 10Ks and all that stuff. So it's a lot. It's a lot already to take in as a person. And if you're a little bit slower like me, if you're a Southern and you're a little dumber than everybody else, then you don't want too much distracting you. But if you're a rocket scientist like Daniel B, then you can take in all that information. So
yeah, I think what really this Daniel B character is trying to state is that he is the wizard at stock trading. He is the master guru. We'll have to go check out. We'll have to buy his course because obviously this Daniel B guy, he's driving Lamborghinis.
well, like that.
uh,
But for those who stumble upon the video, that's maybe not trolling us, the moving averages and all the indicators, my advice is just try to keep it simple. Maybe not as simple as me, but because you get to adding on a million different indicators, you're going to see whatever the hell you want to see. And you're going to see your money go down. So try to find a simple system, 2 or 3 indicators or whatever. I don't use them too much. One Life probably give you more in-depth. I just like to stick with moving averages and volume. That works for me because it's always going to be subjective because like Ben said, everybody's different.
Yeah. I mean, it depends how you're going to trade. If you're going to day trade, the biggest thing is volume.
yeah.
What is the strongest stock? Where's the volume going to? Volume gives you opportunity. Me personally, I use moving averages. I won't give them all away because I'm going to have to charge you for them. But, a big thing is the volume, the price action, and time frames. You can't be like a zombie and focused on to like a certain time frame. You have to use multiple time frames to see where the buying volume is coming at, where the support is at, and if you miss a spot, if you're going to day trade, if it's the strongest stock with the most volume, there'll be another chance for you to get in there. A lot of FOMO. You miss the stock. A stock went up 100%, and you see the big engulfing green candle. You're like, okay, I got to get in it. I mean, that's where most of the new guys get burned, is because they're getting in at the top. You got to just let it play out. Just be patient, and the patience is the key. You have to wait. Everything is going to come around. Just see where the volume is. Okay, this stock, whatever the stock is, here's the volume, here's the play. Look at the chart. Look, I'd like to buy on support. I mean, I feel that that's the safest thing. A lot of people are like, why are you buying down there, dude? You've got like 10 red candles in a row. Why are you buying down there? Well, because what goes up comes down, and what goes down goes up. So that's where the moving averages, for me, help. I know where it's going to come out. I'll be like, okay, this is a nice low risk trade that I can take, and I'm going to know where I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell into the next moving average, and that's all you have to do. But a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to drive a Lamborghini and it's going to happen quick overnight. It doesn't. You have to take those percentage wins. You have to use risk management, and you have to be patient.
And then I would say too, kind of like with moving averages, I don't think it's a good idea to go out and learn 20 patterns. If you learn 20 patterns over 20 years, then that might not be as bad. But as being a new trader, you don't want to learn every single pattern that's out there, because there's a ton of patterns out there. And I'm sure both of you will agree with me. There's patterns out there that fake gurus, per se, have made up. Because you can, like, if you don't know any better and you look at a stock chart, you don't see anything. But that guru can tell you, oh, this is the catfish pattern, that when the catfish goes in the hidey hole in the river, that's when you want to buy, and then sell when it pokes its head back out of the hidey hole. Like that, there's so much out there like that it's, you really want to do a lot of...
I have no idea what you just said. Can you repeat this hidey hole pattern for me? How do I get into this one? This magic
that's the catfish
pattern.
one. When you see them in the river and they're pulling the catfish out of the hole, that's the stock pattern you can see. It's that same thing. But no, I'm just saying, like, it's not a real pattern at all. I'm just making that up just so in case there's anybody who's not catching.
Who knows?
Maybe it is a pattern that nobody's discovered yet. That may be a good book to write. The catfish hidey hole. But what I'm saying is, there's so many patterns out there. You want to find one that is legit and just focus on that one, and maybe with a couple moving averages at first, instead of trying to master like 5 or even 7 or 10 patterns at once, because then you're going to start making up patterns.
Thing is with the the thing is, there's so much free information out there. You just have to Google it. I mean, if you're on YouTube and you're looking at stocks and you see so-and-so guru is trading like this, you can go back into their backlog of videos, and you can kind of see how they're doing it. Go on, Google what these trend lines are, what all that is, what it means, how it works, and just take it step by step. Just grow with it.
I think that's the best thing too. Just grow.
I can't really. The only patterns I know is like a triangle. I know a triangle, but like in an ABC pattern, and that's about it. I don't look into options. I don't look into. I did recently look into shorting, but I just kind of do a long position. I try to catch some kind of momentum, and I look for my price target, and that's it. And as long as you can do that and be consistent over time, you'll be able to be profitable with it by just moving up your share size. So. You just gotta. It depends on your temperament, personality, what you can do and what you can't do.
Yeah, and we have a question from somebody else besides Daniel B. So he asked, "Are we discussing general concepts or your approach to the current market?" And it's kind of a mixture of both, I would say, because we are kind of saying our personal preferences, and then also reference into general concepts as well. Like moving averages is a general concept, but all three of us probably use different moving averages. Or a different amount of moving averages or something like that, because that's what we're saying. Everybody's different, so
Right, and to be honest, with the general market conditions how they are now, I mean, I've been in the live stream with you, Ben, the last week, and I've only taken like a handful of day trades. I've been really kind of concentrating to just step away, watch the market, just because the volatility of the SPY, this is something that I've never seen before. And I hear the gurus saying, oh, they're making a ton of money on it. But I just want to step back, kind of watch it, see what happens. If there's a day trade in there, okay, maybe I'll try to shoot for it. I'll do something low risk. I'll make sure I'll scale down with my size position and see what happens. But to be honest, I've been just kind of sitting back and just watching. I haven't made that many. I do have a few swing trades, but overall, I'm just kind of sitting back and watching right now.
I've been swing trading as well, more than I have day trades. It's just this, like, the volatility is just crazy right now. And you, Blaqamore, you deal with some ETFs, I'm guessing, like as far as like long term, like because you're saying SQQQ, that's an ETF, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So for experienced traders, when a market is this volatile like this, a lot of the money is in ETFs. Like, TVIX right before all this started was at $40, and Thursday it was up to $1,000 a share. That's a huge jump for an ETF.
Yeah.
But just as quick as it jumped, by the end of Friday it was back down to 500. So if you got in at that 1,000 thinking the market was going to keep crashing, then you just got a big hit to your account because you just lost, maybe $100, $200, maybe even $500 a share. So that's something I would say newer traders need to do more research on, because while ETFs are very big money makers right now, they are also account blower uppers. You can blow up account very fast with those.
Thanks.
What do you think, is probably the best way to handle ETFs right now in this market?
I just say I'm only dealing with it because I was already so heavily invested. I had to hedge myself one way or another. I have some put options as well, but I have people who come into me and they don't have a big enough dollar amount exposure into the market for me to say get this put option that lasts as long, because it will be more expensive. So for people like that, I would tell them you can spend less money on an ETF that'll give you that same type of protection. That'll just go opposite. So, of course, overall, you want the stocks to go up, but this ETF will ease the pain on the way down as it's going down there. And it's just a more cost-effective way, because it may not make sense for you to buy a put option that lasts, 6 months out, year out, or whatever the strike price may be. So just to make sense, depending on the size of your account.
What do you think of gold ETFs like JNUG right now, being at the all-time lows that they've been hitting? Not the inverse ETFs, the just regular ETFs, because JNUG I think was at $4 Friday or something like that, $4.37, which is like unheard of.
Yeah, it's even cheaper. It's at $3.53, and it's funny because I like to hear Blaqamore's opinion on this too, because I'm just starting to kind of like research these inverses and the triple leverage, the double, and all this, and there's so many more because I've been concentrating on the long side. I was talking about it last week about being interested in buying, and then over the weekend I started reading about it. I'm like, what, maybe I should kind of stay away from it, just because the volatility of it. It's a whole nother animal.
It's not like a stock. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand.
Right.
You can buy it just like a stock. It'll be on a chart just like a stock. It'll even look like a stock the way it moves, but it's not a stock. You're not really buying into an actual ownership of a company. So that's something, that a lot of new traders might get confused about. You might be like, why is, they might have got in, like I said, Thursday night when it was at 1,000 on TVIX, and then wonder why it dropped to 500 within 12 hours. And it's because it's not a company. It's a fund.
Right. Yeah, it's not a company. It's a fund that moves different. I don't even primarily use them. I like to use them for insurance purposes, assuming it doesn't make sense for me to get the options. I like them in certain contexts, of course, because it's the way it behaves is in between the volatility of a stock or an option. Like a stock, it gives you some time to make a decision. An option, it might expire too fast, or time is really working against you with options. ETF, it gives you time to at least be on your side a little more, but only for something that's relatively predictable. Like when I bought that SQQQ, I said, I'm pretty sure this is the last of the blood we're gonna see spilling out in the streets. I gotta hurt. I didn't even have time to process what was happening. Like when the market just fell down, I said, "Whoa!" I had to make a quick move to protect myself because I wasn't protected like that, and that's what I recommend that for. But if you have enough money in the other account, long positions, I should say, I would say get the put options, buy you some time, maybe more information to come out in a few months to get you to where you have enough information to say, okay, now I know how to approach it. If I should scale out, if I should scale in because things are getting cheaper, I think it'll come back up. Just to let more news come out, I would say get put options 3 to 6 months out. But if you can't afford it or just don't make sense, that's the time where I recommend these type of
Now, real
ETFs.
quick, I don't have a lot of experience with options. I know a little bit, but I don't know that much. And I don't know how much One Life knows. But what do you like better as far as options or stocks? Because I have several other trader friends who will be like, you shouldn't be doing options. Like they'll hit me up all the time, or not. They say I shouldn't be doing stocks. I should be doing options. You know, they hit me up every couple of weeks, like, oh man, I'm killing it with options. You need to leave the stocks alone. Where it sounds like you kind of use both of them to your advantage, and even ETFs as well in the situation.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very situational. I'm what they call a perma bull. I'm always gonna look for stocks to be long in. First of all, options every once in a while I will trade options. That's just if I'm feeling
Okay.
spicy or I just got something I like. Yo, I'm just super confident and that something's gonna happen real quick. I'm like, let me just get the option on this instead of the stock because I know the price will be a way bigger move instead of a 10-20% move. We're looking at doubling or tripling in the same amount of time. But just as fast as it'll double and triple, your account will be to smithereens. So I never really recommend it, especially to new people, people who's new at it, because like I have an approach to market lecture. And when I tell people to trade options, I have that in the lot of experience side of the quadrant. I have a quadrant that says little bit of money, lot of money, little bit of experience, lot of experience. I put option trading in the lot of experience category because it's nothing to blow your account up. There's nothing to get rich, but it's also nothing to end up under
Yeah,
a bridge.
I think that's the
So
same
Right.
way with day trading penny stocks too. You can make a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money very quick if you're inexperienced because some of those penny stocks do have 500% moves, maybe even 800% moves, and just as fast as they go up, you can see them go down and get halted a million times on the way down and destroy people's accounts. So, but I think you're kind of right. Like if you have the experience, maybe switch to options and do both. I like that type of idea instead of just being focused on one. Because being able to adapt in the market is very important. So having several different ways to make money in the market is very important to being able to adapt.
yeah, because options
Yeah,
it
I
can really
agree with
now
you.
the right when the right situation happens, it could be great, but it's just gotta have patience and know when it's time to do it. Because sometimes I'll say just buy the options because you're gonna clean up. But like I said, it comes with experience, and I prefer it over penny stocks and stuff because dealing with the options, it's a little more predictable because you're studying a more stable
Yeah.
type of stock. It's more, I have more confidence in saying Apple may go up 10% over the next 6 months, as opposed to whatever that AUT company I was talking about a second ago. I don't know
Right.
nothing
Yeah.
about that.
In
And I don't
six
know how to
months, they
gauge
may
that.
be worth nothing because they are a penny stock. But
Yeah.
the possibilities that that they could get a test and maybe become cash flow for their first time ever. There's a possibility that could happen. Probably won't happen, but penny stocks like that, they are very risky. And that's the thing. They're different
Well,
too because you're not really trading as much as on the company as you're trading on people's thoughts of the company. You're trading off of psychology. You're trying to predict where volume is going to go because that's what One Life was saying earlier. One of the most important things when day trading penny stocks or lower price stocks with the low floats is that people I lost my train of thought, but you know what I was talking about. But go ahead, One Life, whatever you was gonna say. People are popping things up
But
in the
the
chat
thing
here.
with options that I'm eventually I'll gravitate to. I think it's just like anything. It takes a long time to really kind of adapt to a certain part of the market where you can make money
That's
off of
true.
it. I think you're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to study. The one thing I do like about the options, like I was going to say, is like something like Tesla. You can play like bigger, companies, higher price companies with minimal risk involved in it. Remember when Tesla was like $1,000. You can't just go with options. It's be a better play to if is it going to be a put, is it going to be a call? What your opinion on the stock is? You don't have to worry about having that whole $1,000 in that one share of
Yeah.
stock, and that's like a benefit that you can have with the
Yeah, I
options.
do agree with that as well because you have to have a lot of money to make money off of Google for a day trade or even, possibly a swing trade. So options.
Just even like an investment, if you want to like hold Tesla for the long haul, some poor sucker got in there at 1,000 or right around there. How many, how big was his position in Tesla? You don't know.
So yeah, this has been a pretty good stream. We know we're going for about an hour for the show.
Pretty good. That's the best stream you've ever had in your life.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, I know we wanted to go about an hour. We're a little bit over an hour. Do you guys want to continue for a little bit longer, maybe 15 minutes, or see if there's some more questions? Or I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. I'm fine. I don't want to go probably past more than 30 minutes, but we do have
I probably got a good 5 minutes in me, another 7 minutes, or whatever. If anyone has
yeah.
any
So if you guys
questions,
have any
Yeah,
questions or
I'm cool.
anything, go ahead and drop those questions in there, and we'll get to those. There'll be a little delay, so it'll take a second for those questions. So, what do you guys think about
My
Bitcoin? Just for a little quick topic.
I don't know. I
Bitcoin.
haven't looked at Bitcoin in
Neither one of you. I'm the
a
same
while.
way. I'm not big into the cryptocurrency thing because I feel like there's too many of them, and eventually there's only going to have to be one, because it doesn't make sense for everybody to be using 100 different types of currency throughout the world that are cryptocurrencies. I think one will be the final one, and if you knew that, then you could make big money. But that's the problem I think with crypto. That's my opinion, though. I don't know what you guys think on that, but that's what I think about crypto.
Bitcoin, it's interesting. Because I was on Bitcoin. I started teaching about Bitcoin like right as it was making the news and stuff. Because that's kind of when I got on it, and I happened to time my first 3 trades with Bitcoin perfectly. My fourth one not as perfect. One thing I will say, because the Bitcoin enthusiasts was talking about how Bitcoin is gonna, I don't know, save the world and beat us, whatever. But we seen how Bitcoin reacted during this time as well. It was not immune. So I feel that part of the conversation has to go out the window. But in fairness, Bitcoin is still worth more than an ounce of gold by a lot.
So
$5,800.
yeah, Bitcoin's pretty crazy. Uh, and it seems like it's very volatile too, like a lot of the penny stocks and maybe options as well. But we have one question. One of the guys in the chat. I think he's new to the channel. Welcome, Matt. But he's saying he was talking about options while Blaqamore was talking about options, and he said that he makes from $500 to $9,000 a week off of options. He
What's up?
said the guy said he makes 500 to 9,000 a week on options, and the question was, is it possible to actually do that with options?
Right, what?
All things.
I thought you said he makes it.
No, yeah, the guy said he makes it, but Daniel B is asking, is it possible to make that much? Like, he's basically asking if the guy is being truthful about options or not.
All
'Cause
right
he's been saying a lot about
That
options
guy,
in the chat right here.
That guy probably has done that before, maybe once or twice. All things are possible through Christ, they say. But for that to happen 52 weeks throughout the year, yeah, we can say it's possible at about a 0.000000001% chance of that being consistent. But that can happen a week or two. You know, I've done a trade similar to that, but clearly I didn't do that every week or
Okay. There was a miscommunication between I guess Daniel B. He misunderstood him. He said he made 9K from one 500 position. He said he's done that once before. So.
Oh, good.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the size of your account.
You could do that with potentially with any stock or any fund or anything. There's a possibility that you could make that. But like you were saying, I don't think it would be consistent to make that much every week. But you know, he's pulling it up.
It's all on the size of your account, how much leverage you have.
Yeah, that's the question. What leverage? How much leverage are you using? And real quick, while we're talking about leverage, for new traders, I am so against them using margin, or any time. Like, I really don't think the new traders should be using margin because they can end up blowing their account up and owing more money to the broker than what they had in the account.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to put some time in. You can't just like put some money into a free zero commission account and go balls to the wall, so to speak. You have to like earn your stripes. I just started doing margin, but on one account. But for a new person, no, don't do it.
What do you think about that, Blaqamore?
Stick with the cash account. You don't have to worry about the PDT rule. And you don't have to worry about margin calls.
Not to really name call out, but Ross Cameron is one who teaches you should be trading with margin. He was trying to teach traders how to trade on Shore Trader with margin accounts, which I think Shore Traders.
That is a new trader.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ross Cameron will also leverage his whole account on a trade, but he's been doing it for 15 years or whatever. A person that just finds his channel and does that, no, you're going to lose your money. That's what risk management is. If you have $1,000 account, don't put friggin' $1,000 into one trade. Put maybe $100 into one trade.
What about you,
start from there?
What do you think about margin for new traders?
Well, trading, I say no. But when I be teaching people to like invest for the long term, I still don't even say I always tell people to scale in, period. Like even when the markets is doing good. Because I be like, the more certain you become, the more you could scale in. And then the more certain you're becoming, then you say, you know what? It's okay to maybe use some leverage. You got all the factors going in your favor anyway, because we approaching it different. Now, if it was trading or if it was some short term, no. And then I don't even promote margin. Like, I don't even talk about margin to people like that because, like Warren Buffett said, smart people don't really use margin like that. Because if you use that, wouldn't need it in the first.
Exactly.
Sometimes I feel spicy and I do it, but
Yeah.
But generally, it's just a tool here and there.
Right,
but
but
not
for
like
new
that.
traders, it's definitely something they should probably stay away from. Because, like I said, there's an influx of new traders right now, and they're going to be getting a lot of different information, and I'm sure they're going to hear from some of those other YouTube personalities that you should have a margin account when day trading or whatever you're doing, which I think is a terrible idea.
Well, then they make it look so easy.
Yeah, I mean, of course. But yeah, I don't think we have any more questions. So if you guys are good, we can go ahead and end the stream here in a second. If you guys want to give your last words of wisdom and give everybody one more time where they can find you at if they want to find you and discuss anything. But go ahead, and you guys go ahead and do that, and then we'll get you off here.
Go ahead, Blaqamore.
All right. Once again, my name is Blaqamore. You can find me on any platform. I'm usually live on Instagram and YouTube these days. That's BLAQAMORE. Go to Amazon to get my book. It's called Everything You Need to Know About Stocks for now. Go to freedomoverfailure.com if you're interested in more information. There's free lectures in my course, and there's also a section you can pay for as well. It's only $15 a month. Information keeps coming out every month to keep you in tune. And and stay in the house for a while so we can come
Right.
off this quarantine. Because I'm ready to go
Right.
outside.
So,
Yeah, and I'm one life, one chance, and you won't find me anywhere. So good luck looking for me.
but
But thanks for having
you
me
can
on the
talk to One
stream.
Life in the live stream chats that I do Monday through Fridays. The live streams for the day trading
And
stuff. Yeah, and
Facebook
in the
group.
Framework Fortune Day Trading Facebook group. You just go look it up and then you can join there. And he's usually in there. Sometimes he does a podcast or something. So, yeah. So, all right, guys. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Blaqamore, if you want to come back for another episode, maybe down the road, let the market stew for a couple of weeks and see what happens. I'd have you back on for sure. And then One Life, you're always welcome as well. And
Appreciate it. It was nice
Sweet.
meeting you too, Blaqamore.
Yeah, you too, man. Been
all
fun.
right,
Been
so
real.
guys, thank you for joining us for the first episode of Portfolio Power Up. Hopefully everything was a nice quality for you guys and you didn't have any problems. We'll be back next Sunday for another episode. I have another special guest lined up, and that is Trader Chick, as long as Trader Chick is able to do it, because she does live in South America, so she is in a totally different time zone. So we'll see. She said she was going to be able to, but it may not be live. I may have to record it earlier, but yeah, we'll be back next Sunday for that. We'll be back tomorrow morning for the live stream day trading and swing trading to see what this market's going to do. So you guys have been watching Framework Fortune. I'm your host, Ben.